Hello guys, I'm the Codeholic and welcome to my channel. In this video we're gonna build a small notes application using vanilla JavaScript. We are not going to use any framework or plugin for building this notes application. So this will be a vanilla JavaScript coding challenge. The only thing what we're going to use is the starter kit project, which basically gives us possibility to write ES6 code, module export and import, and it will be converted into browser compatible code. And this starter kit also has possibility to write Sass code, and it will be converted into CSS. So this starter kit basically has a few more features, but we are gonna use only the compilation of ES6 into ES5, converting Sass into CSS, and the Webpack dev server and HTML hot loading for faster development. So basically we aren't going to use Bootstrap and image loading. Okay, so the project, the notes project, is available on my GitHub account, and you can find the link in the video description. So and let's first see what we're going to build. So we have these nodes. Right now the nodes come from the JavaScript object array of objects, but you can fetch from the API or something like this. It's quite possible. So we have possibility to create new nodes and give the title and the description of the node, and you have also possibility to modify your existing node and or delete some nodes, and this is fully responsive. Of course, we use Flexbox to position the nodes, and yeah, that's basically what we're going to build. So okay, let's start. And the very first thing we should do is to clone this starter kit project and open this package.json, and let's remove this Bootstrap because we aren't going to use it. We can remove some additional dev dependencies such as image loader or image optimization, but I'm not gonna do this because then I will have to modify my Webpack config, and this is beyond of this the scope of this video. Okay, so I remove this Bootstrap and run npm install. And let's go to the source folder also, and there will be inside vendor there is this Bootstrap SCSS file. So I'm going to delete this Bootstrap, we don't need it. In the style CSS I'm importing this, so I'm going to delete this also. And yeah, let's clean up this main CSS. Okay, so the main entry script is a style CSS, so let me completely delete the main CSS. Okay, and we have some images as a demo for the starter kit project, so I'm going to delete these images also. And inside index.html we have some rows and columns, so I'm gonna clean up basically everything. And we have this Webpack starter kit. I'm gonna call it vanilla JavaScript notes. Okay, and we don't need this person.js also. And inside up I'm going to clean up everything. So I clean up the project, and now I'm going to run npm run start, which will start Webpack dev server. Okay, and here is empty page. Here is our application. Let's write hello, and here it is. Okay, let's start building our application. The very first thing I want to do is I'm going to use this caveat font. So I'm going to select this font and use basically bold version also, and include this in the head tag of my HTML. Okay, and yeah, so the font is included. Now let's go to the style CSS and create some basic stylings, such as box sizing will be border box, and for body I'm gonna set margin 0 and padding 0. Okay, and if we have a look at the application, so let's plan the structure how we're gonna do this. So we need to have one container for everything, like it will be a notes wrapper, okay? And inside it we're gonna have one button and then all notes. Okay, so for notes I'm gonna create a container, call it like TC notes for the code hole as an abbreviation, the code hole, just a prefix. Okay, TC notes, and inside TC notes we're gonna have each individual note, like TC note. Okay, and the note has a title and it has body and it has this close button. Okay, so for title I'm gonna create new div TC note title, and title goes here, and here we will have TC note body. Okay, body goes here, and we also have this close button. So let me do like this. I'm going to create one more container, TC note header, and put my button there. Okay, for this button I'm going to use font awesome icons. Okay, so font awesome 5, and we want to use from CDN. This is basically what we want to use, and oops, and let's find the icon we want, basically like times. We want oh, I'm sorry, I'm searching it in the wrong area. Times, and this is what I'm gonna use. Okay, and this is the HTML. Let's go to the note header and let's put my code right there. And I'm going to give also a class to my span, which and I need to add also later an event listener. When clicking on the span, what should basically happen there. Okay, so I'm going to call this as TC note close. Okay, TC note close, and let's have a look on the website. Yeah, this is how my note looks like. Okay, so we have title, we have close, we have body, and we need to now start writing CSS. Okay, I do have a ready CSS, so I'm not gonna spend time writing on CSS. Instead, I'm gonna copy my CSS, basically full CSS, and I can explain it step by step. Okay, so this is my full CSS. Let me close this new button. So we have here this TC notes, which is a wrapper. It has display flex, and each node has width and some additional box shadows and cursor in the font family, and the header has some paddings, and we have this close button. This add is something which I was going to add, but I didn't do it. Okay, so we have this TC note close, and we have some additional stylings. Okay, so let me save this and now inspect the code and see why it doesn't change. So we have nodes wrapper, we have TC nodes. Okay, and I don't see any styles. My bad. The reason is that I need to include this style CSS in my app.js. Okay, so I need to import this SCSS style CSS in my app.js, otherwise it just won't have the styles. And here is an error, so what's going on? SCSS style. Okay, maybe dot and slash is missing. Yes, that's it. So this is our first node, and this is basically how the node should look like. So we created the skeleton, and if we duplicate this right now, we will have many nodes, and we're gonna render these nodes basically from the JavaScript. Okay. Okay, let's start building our JavaScript class, and I'm gonna create one class and call it Node Manager. Okay, and this class basically will be a class which has a whole list of nodes and is responsible for adding new node and removing new nodes and so on. Okay, so I'm gonna export default class Node Manager, and let's write constructor, and inside constructor we're gonna accept using destructuring. I'm gonna accept the element on which the Node Manager should work, and I'm gonna accept also nodes array. Okay, and I'm gonna save this element and the nodes array as a public properties. These nodes will be nodes. Okay, and in the app.js, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna import Node Manager from Node Manager class, and I'm gonna create an instance Node Manager and pass there the element on which I want my nodes to work. So I'm going to pass there the TC nodes or the nodes wrapper. So let me pass there nodes wrapper. No, the container basically is TC nodes. Okay, so I can pass there these TC nodes. Okay, so let's go to the app.js and select document query selector these TC nodes. Okay, and we are going to also pass the nodes array. So we need to pass this by destructuring. Okay, so element refers to TC nodes. Let me collapse this, and we need to pass their nodes array. And each node has title, lorem ipsum something, and we also need to give body. Okay, let me copy this from the demo. Okay, so let's go back, and here is my first node. Okay, let me duplicate this few more times, and we have this Node Manager. And now when this is called, the Node Manager basically should render and display the nodes. Okay, so this should be enough to show the nodes. So we need to go to the Node Manager and create a method here, this render nodes. Okay, these render nodes, and this method should be created. So render nodes, and what we are going to do here is basically we're gonna iterate over nodes and create an HTML structure out of it. Okay, so I want to create now single node class. Okay, node and export default node, and the node in the constructor export default class node. In the constructor, the node basically accepts using destructuring title and body, and it also accepts the Node Manager, okay, on which the node belongs to. And we're gonna save this in the public properties. This title is title, this body is body, and this nodes manager is nodes manager. Okay, nodes manager. Okay, so and now in the node manager, we before we basically set this to the nodes array, I'm going to use map method, array map, and which accepts a callback, and the callback accepts each node, and I'm going to return a new node instance. Okay, and this node was automatically imported from the node file, and we're going to pass here the node object. And assuming that the node object contains title and the body, using destructuring, the title and the body will be taken out and saved as a public properties of the node class. And additionally, I'm gonna also pass the node manager, which is this object. Okay, so we created nodes, and in the render nodes method, basically, I'm gonna do the following. I'm gonna first make the elements inner HTML as an empty text, because we need to render nodes there. So when I save this, now my nodes page basically becomes empty. And after this, I'm gonna iterate over my nodes on these nodes for each accepts a node, and call we need to create a method which basically creates an element of the node. Okay, so let's create this method in the node class. Okay, get element. Okay, let's do like this, get element, and we are going to use the templates what we write in the HTML. So this template, we should use this template. I'm going to take this template out, go to the Node.js, and create one more class which will be get template. And this get template returns the template which I just copied. So return back inside backticks. I'm gonna return my my HTML structure. Okay, and in the areas where this title and body should go, I'm gonna put placeholders like title, and this will be body. Okay, these are placeholders. Get template. So here I'm gonna get the template. TPL is this get template. I'm gonna create a temporary element like const tmp div, which will be new div element. Document create element div, and the tmp divs inner HTML will be the TPL, but we need to replace this placeholder title and body with the current title and body. Okay, so the TPL replace title with this title, and let's replace method one more time. Replace body with this body. Okay, this will be the tmp divs inner HTML, and after this we are gonna return the very first element of the tmp div, because the very first element will be this tc node. Okay, it will be also a good idea to save this very first element in the public properties of the current class. So I'm going to create this L, which is a null, and here this L is tmp divs children at 0, so the first children, and I'm going to return this element. So the get element basically creates the node element, saves in the public property of the node class, and returns this element. So let's go to the node manager and do the following. We're gonna do this. So I'm gonna create one more method, a render node, which accepts an element, and this element append child L. Okay, let me call this node L, and here we're gonna call this render node node get element. Okay, So whatever is returned from the node get element is passed to this render node, and this is added in the element. Okay, so let's save this and see what's going on here. And we have 4 nodes. So nodes are basically rendered and the styling works fine. So we have nodes, but they are not content editable. So we need to go to the node class and add content editable attributes to the title and the body. Okay, so we add this content editable, and now when we click inside we can edit the content, yeah, for title also. Okay, that's good. By the way, let me make the title a little bit bolder. I think it will be better. Font weight bold. Okay, let's do like this. Yeah, I think that's much better. Okay, so title is different from the body. Okay, perfect. Now we need to add event listeners. So when I click the close button, the node should be deleted, and we need to also show this new node form button. So when clicking on this button, a new node should be added. Okay, so first let's go to the node class. And after the element is basically created, the get element, so here I'm going to call a method this attach event listeners. Okay, and this method doesn't exist, so I'm going to create this method. Let me collapse other methods. Attach event listeners, and here I'm going to select the button, close button. This will be this constant btn close will be this L query selector, and we're gonna write here tc how's the class? Yeah, tc node close. Okay, tc node close. This will be button close, and btn close on click. We are going to do something. We're going to remove the node, and let's add this remove node method in the node manager. So the node manager basically should have methods like remove node, add node at the bottom, add node at the top, and so on. So I'm going to create remove node method right here, which accepts node, and it does basically the following: this nodes splice, this node's index of the node 1. So this splice removes element from the array, and it basically searches the index of the current node and removes one element from the node's array where this node is located. So we have this remove node, and on this button click we are gonna call this node manager's remove node method and pass the current node which should be removed. Okay, so let's save this and see how it works. Let's click the close button, nothing happens. Inside console also nothing happens. So what's the reason? So nodes manager, remove node. Let's go to the node manager. Yeah, the reason obviously is that we are removing the node. The node is basically removed, but the user interface doesn't change because we need to re-render our nodes. Okay, so when the node is removed, we need to call this render nodes. So which will have a look at the nodes array, and based on the array, clear this element and recreate all nodes. Okay, so let's click the close button and nodes are removed, as you can see. That's pretty cool, right? Okay, now let's create a close button. Okay, I don't want to also spend some time creating an HTML because I want to focus on the JavaScript, and I'm going to copy these styles of the new button. Okay, it has this class, new node button, and let's put in the nodes manager. Okay, let's save this. And here is my new note button. But when I click on this, nothing happens. Okay, let me, by the way, close these notes because they are generated by the JavaScript, so we don't need them right here. So now we need to add event listener to this new note button and create new notes. Okay, let's go to the app.js, and we have this note manager. So we need to select this button, and the button is new notes btn. Okay, new note btn is document query selector new note btn, and on this new note btn's click we are going to call note manager's add note. Okay, note manager add note. So we don't have this method and we need to implement, but inside add note we are also going to pass the title of the note as an empty string and the body of the note as an empty string. Let's go to the note manager and create this add note. Okay, so we may need two methods like add note at the bottom or add note at the top. Okay, so we can implement this this add note to put this note at the bottom, but we need another methods like put it at the top. Okay, so I'm gonna create a second method like add note and like prepend note. Okay, both of them accept note, and the add note pushes the current note in the notes array, but before it actually pushes this note, we should create a note instance out of the object. So a new note, pass there the note and the note manager, which is this. And after the note is added at the bottom of the notes array, we need to call this render notes. Okay, and we need to do similar thing inside prepend note, and instead of push, basically we need to call unshift. Okay, so we call unshift, and this add note basically is already implemented, and the add note is used in the app.js. So if I click new note button, the note is basically added at the bottom. Okay, so it's working, and we can change this, or we can create a new button. I'm gonna change this into prepend note. Okay, I want new notes to be added at the top. Okay, so new note, it's created, it's there. Okay, nice. What else should we do? Yeah, we need to do the following. If you can observe right now, so when I change something in the title and in the body, and then I click this new note button, I see 3 empty notes. So basically my changes which was done on this note disappears, because every time we add a new note in the note manager, it re-renders notes from the notes array, and writing something here in the HTML element in the which has content editable, it doesn't affect the notes array. Okay, so we need to handle this. Let's go to the note class, and we have here attach event listeners, and let me select a title area, which will be this TC note title, and let me select this document, not document, but this L query selector TC note title, and title on input. When something is changed there, I'm gonna do the following. This title will be event target inner HTML or inner text, inner HTML. Let's do it like this. And on every change, let me also print this title. Okay, and let's refresh the page, and when I change something, it's printed immediately, as you can see. Let me do it inner text because it has a lot of white spacing. Inner text. Okay, let me change something. Yeah, that's much better. And when I add a new note there, my changes still remain. Okay, so title, something in the body, and click new note. And the body was lost because we haven't implemented this onInput event listener on the body, but the title is there. Okay, so we need to do the same thing for the body. Body, tc node body, and this body is the following. Okay, let's create new node. This is a title, this is a body, create new node, and my title and body is there. Okay, so it wasn't lost. Okay, so additionally, if you want to make your note application as a to be reusable for others, you probably need to throw an events from the note manager. Okay, so like when someone creates a note from the creates an instance of the note manager. Let me collapse this, by the way. So the note manager, like on new note. So this should be an callback function, and so basically you should get a new note here, on note remove, on note update. So these kind of events should be implemented if you plan to make your note manager reusable for others, like to be installable using npm or such kind of these tools. Okay, so on new note, on note change, let's create on note remove. Okay, and if we go to the note manager, this can be really easily implemented. So if we go to the constructor and just create an empty functions out of the event listener. So let me copy all of them, go to the note manager and create an empty functions. Okay, this on new note, on a note change, and so on. And this on new note should be called on add note and prepend note. Okay, so we can call this my bad, on new note, and pass there the new note basically which was just created, and the new note should be this one. Okay, this will be a constant note object, and pass the note object, my bad, note object right here, and inside unshift also, and we need to pass this note object in the event. And if we go to the app.js, and we basically should receive the note object as an argument, and we can print this note object in the on new note event listener. So when I create new note, I see the new note is added. And in a similar way, you can throw an event listeners from the title change and body change, and so when you change something, you will basically get this on a new change, my bad, on note change. So this callback will be executed. Okay, and let's do this also. So let's go to the note, and this on note change, pass there the current note, this. Let me remove the console log statements. And by the way, this on note change doesn't exist. We need to call this note managers on note change. Let's go to the note manager and on note change. Okay. Okay, nothing happens. What's the reason? let's go to the note, this notes manager on note change, and inside up, yeah, we don't generally accept note object here, and we need to log the current note object. Okay, so when note is changed, we get this new note object, changed note object. It has this title which is changed. A new note is added, we get this also. On this update, we get everything basically about the note, and we can, by just listening this event listeners like new notes, note change, remove, we can make requests to the API and create notes there. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I helped you understanding in something. So let me know in the comment section what you think about the video. If you like it, please share, subscribe, like, and also let me know in the comment section what you want to see more. And thank you guys, and see you in the next time.